Exploring the classical music era, a journey through time with icons and legacies. Discover the timeless elegance of the classical music era, a period that redefined the musical landscape from 1750 to 1820. Known for its emphasis on balance and structure, this era marked a departure from the complex ornateness of the Baroque period, favoring clarity and proportion in its compositions. The classical era unfolded against a backdrop of profound cultural and historical shifts in 18th century Europe. Enlightenment ideals, such as reason, symmetry, and order, permeated the arts, influencing composers to develop styles that reflected these values, leading to music that was both expressive and structured. This period witnessed a smooth transition from the richly textured compositions of the Baroque era to the more melodious and harmonically simple classical style. The change was driven by a new musical philosophy that sought to appeal more broadly to human emotions and rationality. Franz Joseph Haydn, often hailed as the father of the symphony, emerged as a pivotal figure during this time. His contributions laid the groundwork for the symphonic form, enriching it with his innovative ideas and becoming a central figure in the development of chamber music as well. Haydn's influence extended deeply into the realms of both the symphony and the string quartet. He crafted these forms into platforms for both technical experimentation and personal expression, setting the standards that future composers would follow and building a lasting legacy that shaped the direction of Western classical music. Franz Joseph Haydn, often hailed as the father of the symphony, revolutionized the music world with his systematic development of the symphony and string quartet. His approach not only standardized the structure of these forms, but also infused them with a depth of expression and technical mastery that set a new benchmark for composers. One of Haydn's most celebrated symphonies is the Surprise Symphony, where his ingenious use of a sudden loud chord in the otherwise gentle second movement exemplifies his flair for dramatic and playful contrasts. This element of surprise not only delighted audiences, but also illustrated his mastery in manipulating musical expectations. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a prodigious talent from a young age, made significant contributions to various musical genres, including opera, symphony, and chamber music. His ability to blend intricate technical composition with emotional depth allowed his works to resonate deeply with audiences, making him a central figure of the classical era. The Marriage of Figaro, a cornerstone of operatic repertoire, premiered in 1786 to great acclaim. Mozart's opera buffa offered a sharp critique of societal norms, wrapped in layers of humor, intricate plots, and unforgettable melodies. This work not only entertained, but also subtly pushed for social change through its clever narrative and character development. Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik remains one of the most popular pieces of classical music, characterized by its lively, serenading movements. This piece showcases Mozart's exceptional ability to compose with clarity and elegance, making it an exemplary model of the classical style's emphasis on balanced structures and melodic beauty. Delve into the enchanting harmonies of Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik. This serenade, one of Mozart's most famous pieces, exemplifies his genius in creating fluid, memorable melodies and rich textures. The composition's lively first movement, with its spirited string motifs, captures the essence of classical elegance and charm. Ludwig van Beethoven stands as a monumental figure in music, straddling the classical and romantic eras. His early life in Bonn was marked by musical exploration and development, setting the stage for his later revolutionary works. Beethoven's relocation to Vienna brought him into the heart of Europe's musical advancements. Beethoven's contributions to music were profound and innovative. He expanded the scope of the symphony and the sonata, infusing them with a new depth of emotional expression and structural complexity. His daring harmonies and rhythms signaled a break from the classical norm, paving the way for the romantic spirit in music. One of Beethoven's most impactful works, the Fifth Symphony, begins with arguably the most famous four notes in music history. This symphony's compelling rhythm and dynamic contrasts encapsulate Beethoven's ability to convey human struggle and triumph through musical themes, making it a powerful symbol of resilience. The classical era was significantly shaped by the patronage system, where aristocrats and royalty funded the arts. This financial support allowed composers like Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven to create their masterpieces. However, it also often restricted their creative freedoms, tying their compositions to the tastes and whims of their patrons. The classical era was significantly shaped by the system of patronage, where composers were often employed by the aristocracy or the church. This relationship influenced the music that was composed, as it needed to appeal to and satisfy the tastes of the wealthy patrons who funded the musicians' livelihoods. During this time, lesser-known composers like Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach made substantial contributions to the development of classical music. Bach, a son of the famed Johann Sebastian Bach, is particularly noted for his expressive and emotive style that added a new depth to the predominantly structured classical music. The evolution of the piano from the harpsichord marked a pivotal development in classical music. This new instrument allowed for greater dynamic range and expressive possibilities, enabling composers to explore new textures and sonic landscapes that were previously unachievable with older keyboard instruments. Concert halls during the classical era were grand and ornate, reflecting the social and cultural importance of musical performances. These venues were not just places for entertainment, but were also significant social hubs where the elite gathered, discussed, and shaped cultural trends. The rise of public concerts democratized music consumption, making it accessible to a broader audience beyond the aristocracy. This shift had profound social implications, helping to cultivate a culture of musical appreciation among the middle class and laying the groundwork for the concert-going culture that persists today. Explore the classical era's rich tapestry of musical forms, beginning with the sonata. This structure, crucial for solo and chamber music, features distinct movements that contrast in tempo and character, emphasizing exploration and development of themes within a formal framework. The symphony stood as a monumental form during the classical era, showcasing the composer's ability to weave intricate musical ideas across a larger orchestral palette. Notable for its four-movement structure, the symphony allowed for dramatic expressions and intricate interactions between diverse instrument groups. Concertos from this period highlighted the virtuosity of solo performers against the backdrop of an orchestral ensemble. These works typically featured three movements, with the central slow movement sandwiched between faster outer movements, providing a platform for dramatic contrasts and elaborate solo passages. Women in classical music, though often overshadowed, made significant contributions. Figures like Maria Anna Mozart, known as Nannerl, were accomplished musicians. Their stories, while not as prominent, underscore the era's evolving musical landscape and the hidden figures who shaped its legacy. Opera during the classical era split into two distinct styles, opera seria and opera buffa. Opera seria catered to the aristocratic taste with its serious tones and lofty themes, while opera buffa captured the public's heart with its light comedic plots that often contained sharp social commentary. The classical era introduced numerous musical innovations that profoundly shaped the future of Western music. Key among these was the development of clearer structural forms, such as the sonata form, which became the foundation for much of the symphonic and chamber music that followed. These forms emphasized a logical progression of themes and were essential for the musical conversation that characterized the era. As the 18th century waned, the classical era gently yielded to the emotive and expressive style of Romanticism. This transition was significantly influenced by the later works of Beethoven, whose compositions began to incorporate the deep emotional expressions and expanded orchestrations that would define Romantic music. His music pushed the boundaries of musical structure and emotional depth. The early Romantic composers, such as Franz Schubert and Felix Mendelssohn, were greatly influenced by the traditions of the classical era, yet driven by the new Romantic spirit to explore deeper narratives and more complex emotions in their works. Their music retained the formal clarity of their classical predecessors, but infused it with a new, personal expressiveness that appealed to the heart as much as to the mind. Understanding the evolution from the classical to the Romantic era involves appreciating the continuity and change in musical expression. This period marked a shift from the order and balance of classical music to a style that emphasized dramatic intensity and individualism. mirroring broader cultural shifts in 19th century Europe. The timeline from the classical to the Romantic era provides a fascinating glimpse into how cultural forces shaped the art of an era. This progression from Mozart's precise elegance to Beethoven's passionate intensity and beyond illustrates the dynamic nature of music as an art form, continuously evolving in response to changes in society and human experience. As we trace the evolution from the classical to the Romantic era, a captivating graphic timeline illustrates the seamless transition. This visual guide highlights the pivotal moments and the influence that classical composers had on early Romantic figures, underscoring the profound foundations laid during the 18th century. To emphasize the enduring significance of classical music, we reinforce its relevance in contemporary compositions. The structures, harmonies, and melodies established during this era continue to resonate, providing a timeless source of inspiration for modern musicians and composers around the world. As we conclude, let's recap the major themes and composers we've explored today. From Haydn's foundational symphonies to Beethoven's revolutionary works, each composer contributed uniquely to the rich tapestry of classical music, setting the stage for future innovations in the Romantic period. To make this journey through classical music more interactive, we end with a fun quiz. Test your knowledge on everything from Mozart's operas to Beethoven's symphonies. It's a playful way to engage with the history and perhaps discover something new about your musical preferences. Finally, we invite you to immerse yourself in the full experience of a classical symphony. After this video, choose a piece, perhaps one we discussed today, and listen intently. It's not just music, it's a doorway to a different era, offering insights and emotions that are as relevant now as they were centuries ago. As our journey through the classical music era concludes, we invite you to delve deeper into this rich period of musical innovation. Share your favorite piece or composer in the comments below. Whether it's Haydn's symphonies, Mozart's operas, or Beethoven's bold compositions, we love to hear what stirs your soul. We encourage you to further explore the lives and works of these legendary composers. For each musical genius mentioned today, we've provided links in the video description. These resources are perfect for anyone looking to deepen their understanding of classical music and its profound influence on the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more intriguing music history videos. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with our latest content, filled with fascinating facts, insightful analyses, and captivating stories from various musical eras. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. Your engagement helps us reach more classical music enthusiasts like you and helps foster a community passionate about the arts. Let's keep the conversation about these timeless compositions alive. To leave you inspired, consider this quote from Ludwig van Beethoven. "Music is a higher revelation than all wisdom and philosophy." Let these words motivate you to explore and appreciate the profound beauty that classical music has to offer.